Every morning, you need to mind hack and murder hack your brand.
Exponential growth is exponential.
Look at your calendar and burn it. What is your personal winning resume?
The number one thing that they don't teach in school is to make money. Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneur.
Produce.
I am literally a god.
Spartans!
Business
Money Hacks. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business Money Hacks. I'm Bridge Stewart.
And I'm Dustin Taylor Hahn.
Today, we have a very interesting subject we're going to be talking about. The concept of strategy and how that's extremely important in how you conduct business and honestly, how you conduct life in general.
When I was a child, I used to play this game called Stratego with my father.
Oh, wow.
He it would always end up with him flipping the board. That's usually how the game works. I think
course,
that was part of the rules of the game. When all things go bad, just flip the board right over.
It's a good move. I've found it works a lot.
He used to wear a general's hat while we were playing.
He would just strut around your house.
He would strut around and hit me with a cane if I made the wrong move.
A general's hat and a cane. Mm-hmm. Would he have the uniform as well? Or?
He'd have the full uniform. My mother would watch us from the kitchen, and she was approving of it. I suppose she didn't really say much. Most of my childhood was not really much coming out of her.
I bet that was very inspiring to have this general-like figure just strutting around your house with a large cane and really just giving you the tools needed to achieve in life, to understand discipline, I'm sure.
It was all about discipline. He couldn't grow hair. He had alopecia, I believe.
Oh, no hair at all.
He had no hair at all, but he would wear a Robert E. Lee beard around the house.
Wow. So, okay. So your father would waltz around the house in a general's outfit and a fake beard, completely hairless, though.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a real inspiration as a child, I'm sure.
I think that was what he was going for.
Yeah. Well, strategy is a very important thing. I mean, I'm a guy that likes to sort of play it off the cuff, I don't usually use a lot of strategy in life. I'll go into a business meeting and just sort of, wing it. But I often find that, hey, if I think about this meeting for even a couple minutes before I enter, sometimes it helps. Sometimes.
Is that right? I kind of in the same boat.
I know.
I don't like to think too much before. I don't like to brain at all.
I don't like to use the brain that much. It's all about instinct. It's all about just saying things and then sort of picking up the pieces afterwards. Mm-hmm. But I just find that, hey, 30 seconds, 10 seconds even, just before I enter a situation, just to think about what I'm going to say, it does a lot of wonders.
It helps a lot. Let's go to our guest here today, Trina McDowell.
Yeah.
She's a consultant strategist for high-powered businessmen, tycoon types. Mm-hmm. I haven't used any of your services yet, but
no, you haven't booked me yet.
You've been highly recommended.
Yeah, you're probably one of the best strategists in the game.
That's very kind of you to say. Yeah, I have a wonderful roster of clients at this point that I've really earned from recommendations and referrals. So.
How did you get your start becoming a consultant? I like to say I was really discovered at my first job. I was working as a receptionist, and the CEO actually pulled me into his office one day to just have more of a private kind of conversation. He really needed to just bounce some ideas off of somebody and thought I would be a good person. I seemed very welcoming, he said. He liked my energy. And so we had our first sort of private conversation, and I really found, he said it was really, really beneficial for him to really kind of just release some of his pent-up stress in our conversations.
You have to do that.
And, yeah.
Gotta release.
And he really appreciated my youthful perspective, he said. And that it was just a nice exercise for him. And I found myself thinking, well, this is really a better use of my time and resources. And it was certainly more lucrative. He awarded me a bonus, of course, for this. Yeah, because it was really above and beyond what kind of receptionist duties. And so I recognized that and did. Appropriately, invoice him. But it was very great because then we started a relationship of him coming to me for very specific advice and at different times. He would end the day with me kind of, digesting what had happened that day. And unfortunately, he did move companies and get married. But it really kind of launched me into this sort of career of private consultation.
How much do you charge for these sessions?
It depends on the relationship. If I do have a kind of recurring consultation relationship with this executive or their company, minimally about $1,000 for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my minimum. Is definitely $1,000 for sure. And when you're in the room too, different things could come up. They could, have a certain special request that I would have to say, this is really kind of, if I have to be too flexible, I guess is what I'm saying.
Sure.
And I would say that, well, this is going to be a little bit more than my minimum, but only if I'm really kind of pushed to those limits.
You're kind of like a therapist in a sense.
I
don't like that word. It's icky.
Most of my job is stress management. It's stuff that they can't talk about or do with their coworkers or wives, for example. Often people are nervous. It's something that they never thought they would have to do.
I got a lot of work this week.
And I need the help. I didn't think I would ever need somebody like you, but I do so badly.
I've worked with a lot of specialists over the years. And, I just have to say, you're almost sort of legendary of these businesses.
Thank you. I really do. Those kind of recommendations are really, my bread and butter.
I've only been, listening to you for about 10 minutes, but already I'm like, get me in on this.
Oh, that's sweet of you. Yeah, you could feel free to professionally book me at any time. And I do kind of want to expand my business. I would love to start working with other consultants. I would love to bring in some more more girls in. And I've been kind of working on what right now is either going to be like the training program for them or what might just end up being my book. And it would be called The Money is the Finish Line. Kind of like that. You guys know the book Lean In?
Yes.
I also like the idea of doing Reach for It. It's just on the table. It's right there on the money.
Just get it.
Just get it.
Just grab it. So you're thinking of sort of almost creating a house of consultants, a house of strategists where you could gather them all up and you'd be sort of the head honcho.
Yeah, because right now it is so often me going to offices. It's me going to convention centers, hotel rooms. And it would be smarter for me to start having some sort of a home base and have that be more of a place that clients can come to us.
This sort of executive consultant job it's not a new thing. This isn't something that you invented. It's been going on for decades.
Thousands of years, I would argue.
Yeah, it's certainly one of the oldest professions, I would say, in the world. But what's important about it is that trust is such a big part of it. And these are personalities that don't want other people in their industries to know that they are asking for help. So you do have to keep things kind of subtle. I know that you've heard my name passed around, but I'm sure that people aren't really opening up to you about exactly what it was that I helped them with. It's interesting, having that power is a great responsibility, and it is also great.
We all have little black books.
Yeah, we all have little black books.
On other people.
Yeah,
so.
And it's great when business is slow too, because there's always those really reliable clients that even if they think they want to stop working with us, we say, are you sure you want to do that?
That could be a problem. Like you said, discretion is very important. Like, I can't tell you how many strategists I've gone through that have just come up to me afterwards and said, hey, I've sort of filmed this strategy session that we had. Maybe I'm going to hand it off to someone. And that becomes an issue where you just have to somehow get rid of that strategist.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've gone on many trips out in Arizona and New Mexico.
Yeah, those strategists
figuring that one
place.
out.
Yeah.
So you were talking about maybe expanding your business with other ladies.
Mm.
What would be like the test? Are they tested to make sure that they know what they're doing? Is there any tests involved?
Obviously, there would be an interview of sorts. We're working late hours. We're working multiple clients a day. I think that a general physical wouldn't be too much to ask.
Okay,
and I get to run blood tests, STD tests, things of that nature.
Would like to check.
Yeah. And I've got a guy for that too. I got a guy who comes and really, I have a standing appointment really.
Well, I also think it's important for you to be able to make sure that these strategists can sort of handle the incredible load of these strategy sessions. I mean, sometimes I deal with these consultants and they are a little shocked by the strategies that I want to go through with. And they end up walking out and I say, hey, I'm not going to pay for this strategy session.
Sure.
This is outrageous.
That just sounds like you're working with someone who's just inexperienced. And that's what I would want to train my staff to just be ready for anything and everything. Because you're working with, titans of the industry. You got to just grab the whole situation by the balls. And generally, a lot of our clients really do like that. And it really does, it gives me a lot of power. So in a way, it's empowering.
Great.
In a way, very, very crushing as well. It's very tolling emotionally, and it's difficult to, have a full personal life because I work so much, and I haven't found a partner who totally understands the
amount of loads
that I have to take, and the stress and the physical exhaustion from from opening up all the time.
Sure. Yeah, and I imagine a lot of these CEOs under so much stress would they would cry after a strategy session, or feel comfortable crying after.
It can get very emotional. I mean, honestly, you do have to come to appointments with a lot of Kleenex for various reasons, but that does kind of do double duty when they start to cry, and then you're like, well, I do already have Kleenex here, so that's great. But it happens more often than you'd think. So they'll know at the top when we're consulting our rate and what's going to be happening in the session. They will really anticipate that.
Are you going to do that?
Yes. Are you going to do that? Is this the role that you need me to play? Is the person on the other end of your little bitch tears,
Would you strategize with mid-level, lower level? For example, if a CEO says, you were so great in our last session, I want you to strategize with everyone at the office.
At this point, I'm just working with really the cream of the crop, as I like to say. I'm working right up there.
The tippy top.
The tippy top with all of the cream.
Christmas parties. You couldn't be hired for just to hang out at a Christmas party and just a light strategy session.
A light strategy session at a Christmas party. No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I've certainly offered that several times for you to come in as full time, and you've rebuked me several times, and I became very angry, but ultimately I very much respect that strategy.
Sure, you have to, yeah.
One question I have is, it is kind of a legal gray area in regards to the strategy consulting profession.
Sure. Fortunately for me, I do keep a lot of things on file that will protect me. Think of it as an NDA, sort of. That just keeps me distanced. We're all under the impression that I will be distanced if and when they do get caught in wrongdoing.
Sure.
I mean, a lot of my clients are lawyers, are cops,
Wow.
are people working at judges, people working in the justice system. So
sure. I mean, you don't want Bridge to. I'd hate for Bridge to have to call me up and say, we'll have to take her out to Nevada.
Right. But exactly. So in that case, Bridge knows the photos that I have of him and that's really, And while we're in our strategy sessions, that's something that really helps me sleep at night.
Yeah, it's a great mutual respect, I would say, in these strategy sessions.
Yeah.
Do you work with politicians?
Oh, several.
Okay,
yes.
yeah, that was
several. Yeah.
I would imagine DC is looking for strategists of all types, of all shapes and sizes. So.
You do have to be more careful in DC though, because people are more on the lookout for people who do my job. You found out the CEO of Chick-fil-A was doing private, consultation. It's not as bad as Obama was doing private consultation.
Who?
John
what
Kerry.
Other politicians have you worked with?
I really couldn't say.
I mean, aside from Obama
and John Kerry.
Who else have you worked with?
I hate to say this, but John McCain was really a big client of mine back in the day.
John McCain.
John McCain.
Wow. Okay.
God rest his soul, John McCain.
Yeah. And I will say?
Yeah.
As our appointments got fewer and fewer, his health declined. I don't want to say, that was my experience.
Yeah.
Anytime you're working with one of your clients and you do run into family members, there's usually a pre-agreed upon excuse, really, I guess is the word I'm looking for, that you and your client have agreed upon that then you present to those people. I have met Megan indirectly. At the time, Megan actually, it was very easy for her to believe that I was actually just a nurse because I was dressed as a nurse. So if she were to see me today, that's what she would.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. I had been checking out the semblance of a website. This looks like an Angel Fire website. Let me just scroll down here. Yeah, I'm into it.
Okay. I really
Can you tell us about your website?
I really steered. So the website was kind of when I did get some advice to have some sort of website with a list of services.
Sure, a
and
lot
to
of
kind
photos
of be
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and it to be more of like an advertising space of who I am, what I can do, the services I could provide, the things I could wear to the consultations, things of that nature. I really should either clean it up or just delete it. Clean it up, I mean, like make it look neater.
Yeah.
Have you thought about maybe even going like international? I know some of these consultants, they deal with people from Russia, Saudi Arabia, China's the big one. Yeah.
It's, there is a part of me, I have to admit, that's a little apprehensive about working in a more international space just because the culture becomes very different. Strategy consultants play a different role or have different responsibilities.
Oh, they do, yeah.
In their country,
Mm-hmm.
that I worry
Arabia,
about.
I imagine,
Sure. And if I was to have to, cover up myself for most of the appointment, I do think it would be a little bit harder for me to do my job.
Mm-hmm. Also, ick.
In Saudi Arabia, they do most of their business on yachts. And those are international waters, and everybody knows that anything goes in international waters. So being a, strategy consultant in international waters can be a little troubling at times.
Sure.
Yeah.
I also have a fear of open water, so I don't think that would do for me personally.
Yeah, a lot of consultants these days, I mean, sometimes they fall overboard on these boats, and
Right.
it's dangerous out there.
Yeah, you have to be aware of all exits. People people can get emotional, as I said earlier in these meetings. So when you're, say, in the office, at the hotel room, at the convention center, in the car, make sure that the doors are unlocked. Know where your exits are. It is one of my pet peeves when I show up and there is more than just my client in the room. And then there has to be a discussion of like, well,
Payment.
How is the payment changing?
Right.
Am I consulting both of you?
I'm wondering if we can kind of go over a little bit of the specific services that you provide for, the top CEOs.
One of the most popular exercises that I really found is very effective and really kind of up everyone's alley is just a very general role playing. I want you to be the boss for a bit. I want to be your secretary. I want to be a little baby, for example. Really
help
test
them with their portfolios.
Yeah, I help them with their, very.
I just want to, put that out there.
Yeah, I help them.
With their portfolios, you manage their accounting. You make sure that they're.
Yeah, I get all the numbers into place. Yeah.
You play a lot of roles at different positions.
Yeah, lots of different roles, lots of different positions.
I mean, for example, in my work, I'm always having to be the adult in the room. And it's so nice. Like, you almost kind of take on a mother role.
Sure,
my mom wasn't like really in the picture that much. And it's so nice to like, for you to come in and like sort of almost pretend like, it's like a mother role.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. Like I've told you before, I do have a binder with all of my clients in it. And I do take note on what they like, who likes to be a baby, what kind of props, like an apron, a bottle, things of that. Like I put that in your file, which of course has an undisclosed location. But it is really nice for me. I call it the Bible. Each page has what they like to do when I'm there. So for bridge, it's I need to bring a apron, a bottle, kind of like you like burping, things like that. You could flip to McCain, and he does really typically, he did prefer nursing. He liked to do kind of like reenactment type things, like period. It was a little, I really think I had a lot of sway in some of the decisions that he ultimately made. We would talk a lot about
in this country.
I mean,
you for it.
Thank you.
One could
I don't like to brag, but
you are a patriot. Do you primarily work with men?
Yeah, I found that female CEOs are actually just very, very good at doing their jobs.
They're not into strategy.
They don't really need that help.
They don't like strategy.
They don't need that strategy. They
can take care of their own strategy.
They really can take care of their own strategy. That's what I found. I mean, anytime. I mean, I have thought about it. It seemed like it might be easier in some ways, but it's a little bit more complicated.
It's a little harder.
It's a little harder to strategize with them, and I've just found that women are very capable of doing it on their own, and most of the time prefer it. That's how, I certainly don't have a strategist for my career. I just get the job done myself.
So this Bible that you have, is there any way of procuring the Bible or just skimming through it?
Like how much would it cost?
Yeah, how much
to
would that
maybe
cost?
like 5 pages be able to
figure out
read
what the head of Tesla's up to.
Oh, God.
And,
that's something.
For example, I just did this off the top of my head. As somebody from Tesla or the head of Tesla.
You're cute. I really wouldn't be able to disclose those secrets. I just couldn't. Oh, God. The value of the Bible is billions? I don't know.
Okay. Could I skim through the book? I just want to see one page.
I think if you honestly, you know what I think? I think it would be a better use of your money to simply book an appointment with me. Pretty booked up, pretty full the next couple days.
I'm also kind of booked up. I'm planning on taking a road trip out to Arizona. You're invited if you'd like to come. Bridge and I are taking a trip. So
maybe bring the book.
Bring the book. We can talk.
You would want me to take my Bible with all my clients on,
get
in a car with you and drive to Arizona?
Yeah, I don't think you could hurt anybody, right? Like, I think just a drive
it's just
with
a
the
fun
Bible.
So it is just a drive. It's not there's no destination. It would just be driving to Arizona and coming back.
Check out Arizona.
And then just circle back.
Circle back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might be.
Just think about it.
It's interesting. It's interesting you bring it up. I actually don't get into moving vehicles with my clients. If there's any business done, any consultation done within a vehicle, it has to be parked.
One question I have: are there copies of this Bible? Like, if I were to get a hold of this Bible, would I
do have a digital copy as well as my hard copy.
Okay.
All of this is very protected. Yeah. You guys are businessmen. If there was,
Sure, we know plenty of.
It's essentially. I know it sounds very intriguing because there is so much, really valuable. The information I have on them is just invaluable.
Mm-hmm. So it's all on the internet.
I do have it in my cloud.
Good to know.
Good to know.
But that's
it's
very secure. I'm sure it is.
Very
it's a secure
secure.
cloud.
I'm a security girl, I gotta say. I test it all the time.
You test your cloud.
I test
all
my
the time.
cloud all the time.
Okay.
It's always
you
good
gotta
to
test
test
it all the time. You gotta
test your
know
cloud.
that the security hasn't been breached in your cloud.
I've known a couple circumstances where these strategists, they've sort of gone off the reservation a little bit, gone AWOL. And then suddenly there's a lot of people saying, hey, whoa, oh no, they've got a Bible floating around. What if the press were to get a hold of that? How many copies are just floating around on the cloud or in real life?
Sure.
Plus there's so many hackers out there who can, friends of ours. I have a very good friend of mine, Cribus42. He's good at what he does, so you got to watch out for these guys. He loves
getting in the cloud.
Oh, God, if I were to get a virus, my business would be ruined.
Well, it seems like you've got some incredible prospects going on here. You're setting up a strategy firm. It sounds
really
like a strategy, a house of strategy.
Yeah, house of strategy, house of consultation. Just think of the difference between if you got to come to my firm, come to our room, the room has everything there. It's very dark, plenty of places to sit, positions to be in, things to be strapped to.
And you want to be comfortable too.
Yeah, you want to be comfortable.
When you're strategizing, you want to make sure that there's plenty of, a couch.
Mm-hmm.
Or like a big crib.
Or like a big crib, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Are you thinking about that? Having a big crib?
I am also thinking about that. Yeah,
I'm just curious.
Oh, for sure. That would be a separate room. So I am thinking about one of those more upstairs.
Okay.
That's kind of more, baby themed.
Like a big crib, like not a small crib, a big crib.
Yes.
Okay.
And what would be so great about that? I think we can have things for our clients to change into that we could bring in and say, get out of that suit. Slip into something comfortable for this. We want you to be comfortable. We want you to be happy. We want you in your footsie pajamas.
That's how you raise profits.
We want, exactly. Yeah. So it's all about the client satisfaction.
This was a fantastic conversation. I learned a lot.
I've
only came up with my own strategies. Recently, I
think you should really book one.
I think that would be a good idea. I think we should get close. Would be nice to go where you live. Check out that book. Might be good. Just to skim through.
You really want to see that book?
You guys are cute about the book.
Look, yeah. But you seem like
I certainly couldn't give you any kind of look into the book, but what I could do, if you guys are interested, seems like you guys would love to be consulted together, which is something that I could absolutely do for you. It does seem like you guys, I think that your business and this wonderful business podcast might benefit from just take all of the work that you're doing on this and you get together and you really release your stress and your loads together. You'd be surprised the moment of clarity that happens. And I think if you guys had one together, you'd be able to think of some creative things, really getting in there with each other. And I can help you guys kind of unlock some stuff about this working relationship.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know how comfortable
well,
I'd feel. I kind of like
want to keep that kind of a barrier.
Even his appearance kind of sickens me at the moment. So.
I've got fixed up. I've been fixed. My face looks fine now. So.
Yeah, it's hard to erase the memory though of your scarred face.
Well, one last question is: do you have a Robert E. Lee costume?
Yes, I do.
Now we're talking.
It's interesting you said I only really needed it for one client a long time ago. He wanted me to dress as Robert E. Lee.
Texas man?
Yes. And he had, you know what? He had no eyelashes or hair or anything.
Was he strong? Did he have strong arms? I mean, could he choke you? Well, this has been Business Money Hacks. Thanks so much for coming in. That was
yeah, this has been really educational experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. And yeah, anybody can contact me through my website, or if you wanted to pass on my card, I know you have it, Bridge.
Of course, yeah.
And
What's
I'll
your
be
website?
looking forward to hearing from you.
What's the link?
The link is www.upandcomingstrategies.org.
.org.
.org.
Okay. Wow.
.org. Yeah, it's .org.
Not org. Org. Okay. It's been Business Money Hacks.
We're on iTunes. We're on YouTube. We're on SoundCloud. Thanks so much.